you, Helin.
Hi, Neil.
There is so much effort, it seems, being put forward by Turkey in particular to try and bring all the major parties together, the president of Ukraine and the president of Russia predominantly, to get them at the same table. Now, President Zelenskyy is openly keen to sit down and have a discussion. President Putin, it seems very hard to get him to the table. How would you suggest that could be achieved? Would it need the carrot or the stick, pressure or incentive?
Well, in diplomacy, there are different ways to persuade the conflicting sides to come together. I think the most important thing to underline here, which Turkey is doing at the moment, is to somehow shed light on the urgency of the issue. So this is a very urgent crisis that should be solved rapidly. And it's been more than 3 years. Thousands of people somehow got under the influence, either by being murdered or being moved away from their lands, towns, cities. So there is a going on crisis which should be solved soon. And this is what Turkey is trying to do at the moment. We see a clear example of a shuttle diplomacy, which Foreign Minister Fidan also underlined in his speech from Kiev. We got used to this concept of shuttle diplomacy, especially during the times of Henry Kissinger in the United States of America during the 1970s especially. And he himself got positive results of this shuttle diplomacy regarding the American foreign policy and its relations with the Middle East and its relations with China as well. So what Turkey is trying to somehow present a similar strategy which will hopefully persuade two sides, Kiev and Moscow, to come together, especially directly from leader to leader. I know it's not easy to persuade Putin, but at the same time, I'm sure that Russia is also aware of the fact that this war should come to an end soon. Well, actually, where the stick comes from, stick is usually coming from the United States of America. So I can heartfully say that President Trump from the United States of America is continuing to apply a pressure, especially, which we can call as a stick on
Helin,
the two sides, and namely
I just
Russia.
want to point out
Yes.
a couple of problems that I see in bringing Russia to the table. One is I think they think that they're winning this war, so why should they stop? The longer it goes on, the more it benefits them. And the second one, I think, is noticeable in comments today from the Russian envoy to the UN, Vasily Nebenzia, who said, as long as Kiev tries to prolong the war and provoke Russia by striking residential and civilian infrastructure on a territory, they're going to carry on with what they call their special military operation. But the sentiment I got from him was, how dare Ukraine fight back? Now, if that's the mentality, it seems Russia feels that it's in the moral ascendancy here, and couple that with the fact they think they're winning. Isn't that going to be very difficult to talk them round to negotiating if they think that they are morally right and militarily stronger?
Well, this was something that we underlined in mid-May, that both sides are not actually retreating from their position. So both of them are trying to somehow give a message to their audiences, to their nations specifically, that they are doing something right. And this is especially valid for the Russian side, because the Putin administration especially, is somehow trying to feel the superiority, or make at least Kiev to feel the superiority of Russia, Moscow, because it's not seeing Kiev, Ukraine as an equal counterpart. As you said, this is the most important problem in the efforts to solve this issue. But I'm sure the international community is somehow, unfortunately, I'm sorry to say that, but people are fed up with this continuing war. The European countries, especially the United States of America, on the other side of Atlantic, they are trying to bring an end to this war, because the taxpayers, the nations, are not willing to pay extra money, extra military and economic aid to this war. So I think the most logical side for Russia as well is to make this war come to an end. I don't think that Russia
Helin,
is
I do apologise.
winning, by the way.
I'm afraid we have run out of time. The clock's beaten. It's great to speak to you, though. At the end of our news hour, Helin Sari Ertem there. And that